Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a very, very sunny, as you can see, Grand Union Canal. Back out on the canal today. It's the 24th of March today. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. The sun is out, gloriously shining down on me. I came out today because the Met Office, as of last night, forecast very overcast day today. So I planned to come out today, and there's barely a cloud in the sky. So once again, the Met Office do a fantastic job. So we're here now anyway. I've come to a stretch where you can probably see across from me. I've got some cover on the other bank and it's casting a shadow. So that's really the main reason I picked this spot. All the way along here to a greater and lesser extent, there's a bit of cover on the other side. Not particularly going in the water, but just to put some shade on the water. It's a bit further along from where we fished in the last video. Now I've come out once again armed with float rod, slightly different one this time. I've got my Tyson 13-foot Waggler with me today, slightly shorter, but I'm going to go exactly the same setup. We'll suck it and see a bit really. I mean, last time we caught some roach, skimmers, silver bream, hybrids, perch, so hopefully the same again. Perhaps some bigger ones, perhaps some nicer bream, nicer roach, even a nice big perch, who knows. I'm going to fish perhaps into dark, so we've got a few hours at it. I'm going to stay relatively mobile as well. It does look very warm, but it's not as warm as it looks. It's only about 10 or 11, 12 degrees today. It's lovely and warm in the sunshine, but not quite as warm as it appears. Right, I'm going to get set up and I'll come back to you in a minute, show you the gear. I spent about 10 minutes or so just plumbing up and getting the right depth. The depth there is just about 4 foot, which is pretty much what I'd expect for down the track in the canal. Gear wise, I'm going on a size 18 hook to start with. I've got my Tyson 13-foot pellet waggler, as I mentioned. I've coupled that with a new reel. As you know, I love my close face reels, and having heard how squeaky it was, my old 704 last time out down the river, I decided to buy another one. And obviously this time of year again, close season's just started. The gear tends to be quite cheap, river gear certainly, and close face reels are really more synonymous with river fishing, so I managed to pick this up very cheap. It's Garcia 506 Mark II. I should be using that quite a lot down the river, but I do really love them for float fishing. Love close face reels, just for their one finger operation really to cast out, etc. Now, 4-pound line on, and what I've done is I've got on here a loaded straight Waggler, Drake Waggler. Now it's loaded down to here. I don't know if you can see, this will come out with the sunshine so bright, but it's loaded to here. It's a straight Waggler, and I'll just put some shot on to sink it to, so there's about 10 or 15 mil of tip showing. What I may well do is fish, take all the shot off and just put maybe an AA on the bottom and fish the lift method, in which case the AA will sort of sink it to there, or there I should say, and it'll do that as and when we get a bite. But there's not too much draw on the canal now. I may even fish on the drop at the moment. The boats, I believe, after doing a bit of reading, are still in lockdown, so they're only allowed to move in when they really have to. So the canal's hardly moving, because at this end I do know it really pushes through when the locks are opening, but at the moment it's barely moving. So I'm going to fish I'm about 1 inch on bottom at the moment. Baits with me, I've got with me are maggots, I've got some worms, I've got a bit of sweetcorn, I've got a bit of luncheon meat, and ground bait. I've put some new ground bait for this session. This is some chocolate orange non-fish meal ground bait. I think it's Sonia baits, if memory serves me correctly. It's got a lovely sort of chocolatey, as I say, non-fish meal ground bait, because I'm not particularly targeting the bream. I'd like to catch a bit of everything, so I'm sure the bream won't turn their noses up at that. Yeah, I'm going to go on maggots to start with. Oh, I've got bread as well, of course. Would never go anywhere without bread. Yeah, I'm going to go on the maggot first, I think. Try maggot. I've thrown a bit of ground bait in, and hopefully hopefully we can have a few fish. What I've done as well, which I didn't do last time, is I think it caused us to catch a lot less fish than we should have last time, is I've bought my keep net with me, so I will use that as and when we catch some fish. If we're catching some smaller fish, they'll go in the keep net, just so they don't spook all their shoal mates away. But that's it, first cast. Spin you around. You may well see the float, I'm not sure. Hopefully you can. But we'll see. We'll see what's about. Keep the maggots going in. I can't imagine we're going to catch anything too big whilst the sun's blazing. But you never know. Trickle the bait in and hopefully some fish will turn up. Which is very, very static, the water, which is great. I'm sure it's warming up. I think we're gonna certainly run into the period soon where fish are not interested in feeding because they're spawning. But I've had a bit of a walk up and down the canal before I started today, and I didn't see any evidence of that. The water's still reasonably cold. Certainly in single figures, I don't think the fish are actually spawning yet. I'm just going to move this shot up the line. Ooh. And fish sort of almost on a drop, if you like. Shot around the float. Just one a little bit further down. Let's see if perhaps we can catch on the drop as well. As it is so calm, the water. Nice to catch a few fish. I'm also not going to have a static session. We're going to, well, hello, we had a bite then, certainly a knock. We're going to fish and then perhaps have a move. Not going to stay anywhere too long unless I'm continually catching. But we definitely had a knock then. Caught some rudd last time, didn't we? So it may well be that the rudd will take the bait on the drop. Yeah, that float's just holding there with just an inch of line on the bottom, which I couldn't get it to do the other day, to go fish the lift method, but that's sitting there nicely today. I'm just laying on. It's just holding. It's quite strange because the canal's towing just very gently left to right, which is what I would expect. But the stuff on the top is moving the other way. But I kind of picked this area because of all the crud on the top, the sticks and all crisp packet here and stuff. That's kind of, if to my mind, if the stuff is collecting on top, if all the crud and that is collecting on top, then you know this is where the crud will collect on the bottom as well, and with it, you know, the food, all the bugs off the trees, etc., that the fish feed on. And that's my reasoning as to why I've set up here. Whether it's correct, only time will tell. Oh. Do you know what I thought? Oh, those sticks are going to be right in my way. And I managed to catch them. Which I wasn't intending on doing, but now they're not going to be in my way. That's brambles. There we go. So, did consider actually going on the ultralight, do a little bit of ledgering. But I do like watching a float. May well do, perhaps in a while. Perhaps we'll switch methods. We'll just see how we're getting on. The good thing about fishing a float is that you just know when there's fish about. The float starts jumping around and towing, and you just know that there's fish in the swim. Whereas sometimes on the ledger you just don't know. So it'd be good to fish the float. Missed that one. Well, I've come off the bottom a couple of inches. And I had a bite first cast. I wonder if my bait's a bit disappearing into the silt. Well, finally we've connected one of these bites. That's a lovely rod. Oh, he's off under the net. Come on, chap. Here you come. There we go. Well, just started to get a few little bites. There we are. Wonderful stuff. Fantastic. I think I'm starting to get a few fish now on the drop. Well, it's great, we're off the mark. Just 2 or 3 very, very gentle bites. Which I missed, and then that one, which I connected with. Just very, very gentle though. There's another one there, just very gentle. Just moving along the canal a little bit and then dropping under. I'm wondering if it's the dreaded crayfish. Where the float's just going along and then going under. Well, that was a similar bite, and I connected with that one, and that's a rudd, so that's fab. Maybe it's not crayfish after all, hopefully. Careful, 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 careful. Lovely stuff. God, it's so lively. Fantastic. Tell you what, I'm loving this new reel as well. It's 506. It's definitely a step up from the 704. Big step up. Yeah, it looks like it's a skimmer to me. Well, it took half an hour or so, but we're getting a few bites now. Fab. Just chuck in 5 or 6 maggots in every cast. Now I know there's some fish around. Don't want to overfeed them. But they do seem to be having it now. I'm getting quite a few bites now, which is good. All sizes welcome. Just putting that tiny little ball of ground bait in seems to do it. Have to keep doing it. It just gets me a bite. It's just starting to push through a bit actually. I think someone must have opened a lock. Because it's just starting to push through. Left to right. The toe in here. But to be honest, I'm just letting the float run through. So we're not on bottom anymore. A couple of inches off the bottom. I'm just letting it run through. Very, very slow trotting. Ooh, that's another lovely rud. Beautiful stuff. This is lovely. Lovely, lovely thing. Well, I was struggling for a bite. Just as you can probably see, changed over to worm. Let's skim her straight away. Yeah, gone by a bite for about 15-20 minutes. Then over onto a worm. You can definitely use again. And yeah, got a bite straight away. Just hoping that as it starts to get dark, we'll perhaps start to pick up some bigger fish. That's my hope. I'll tell you what, that sun's just gone behind those trees. As soon as it has, it's gone really cold. Well guys, it's gone very quiet here. Really, really quiet, so I'm going to have a move, I think. So we'll get these fellas back. And what we caught, not too much I don't think, but oh, they're cute. Have a look. Some skimmers. A couple of beautiful rudd. Another one. There we are. How lively these fish. Fantastic. And then a few bits and pieces. These skimmers, little rudd. Oh, chaps, back you go. There we go. Fab. Right, yeah, as I say, time for a move, I think. We'll have a wander up the bank a little bit further and see what we can find. Sun's just about going behind the trees and a bank over there. So we're just starting to lose the light. So yeah, we'll have a little bit of a move before the light goes. So guys, here we are. New swim, as you can see. Gonna have a little plumb up, but I assume it's pretty much the same depth as the other spot we fished. Pretty uniform, the canals generally. We'll have a quick little plumb up. That's what I'm going to do. Is fish the lift method, I think. Anchor the bait on the bottom. Fish the lift method, I reckon. Great stuff. Another spot to try. Again, same thing. Put a few maggots in. A little bit of ground bait. Just upstream. Not really upstream. It is just towing a tiny bit. Put a little bit of that in. Just. And then one really loose ball just to get a bit of smell in the water. We'll see if we can drop on some fish. Oh, getting the indications already. Yep. It didn't take long, did it? Just about licked it. Like that. Back on the skimmers straight away. That's fantastic. Well, fantastic start. A lovely lift on the float, just lifted out of the water. It's a shame you won't be able to see it, but unfortunately on this camera, I'm sure you're not going to be able to see the bites. Well guys, sunset as you can see. This is terrible. I've had one bite in this swim. That skimmer. I've been all through the baits. Nothing doing. I'm gobsmacked. This canal once again. This stretch anyway. I've only fished it twice now, but this stretch once again has absolutely died as it gets dark. Very, very strange. You would expect it to get better. It's very weird. I have seen what I think was a zander chasing some fish up to my left. So I definitely think next time I come up here, I'm going to have a zander session, I think. So it looks to me there's a few around to be caught. We'll give it a bit longer yet. I'm hoping something bigger will turn up. Just going to try a little bit of luncheon meat. That's the only bait I haven't tried yet. In here, bread, worm, corn, maggot. We'll come up with a big fat 0 so far. Often, I've said it before, but you can tell in the canal, you can tell when there's fish in the swim. Because, you know, your float starts bouncing around. It's just no fish here. Well, guys, we finally had a bite. I missed it. But we had a bite. Lovely lift bite on meat. As you can see, it's got dark, and aside from that one bite, since it got dark, I had nothing at all. It's got very, very cold as well, but I'm sure that hasn't really affected the sport. It's very strange. I'd normally expect sport to pick up after it's got dark, and that's been my experience on other stretches of the canal. But here, it just seems to die off as it gets dark. Very, very strange, very strange. But we'll get it sussed. It's a bit of a strange time of year, isn't it? The fish are sort of preparing for spawning. They're not spawning yet because it's far too cold. You know, we're getting warm days, cold nights. You know, there's going to be a frost tonight. It's a bit of a strange time of year. So who knows? I can't really judge this stretch of canal just on this time of year. So I'm going to stick at it here as well as fishing other stretches, I should say. So yeah, it's looking forward to trying to unravel the how to get to the bigger fish, shall we say. Now, I think what I'm going to do is, for the next session, bearing in mind the weather and how it's all a bit strange at the moment, the fishing and the fish, and bearing in mind I've seen a few zander attacks here in the couple of sessions I've been here. I'm going to go zander fishing. I think I'm going to bring the zander gear here and have a go after the zander with the dead baiting rod. So that's going to be the next session. So until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling. Many thanks to the channel patrons, and I'll see you again very, very soon.